Hello everyone. First of all, thank you so much for your incredible support and feedback on the first version of my tool Playwright MCP YAML. I really appreciate your time and effort in trying the tool out and sharing me the good suggestions, which motivates me to release the second version of the tool where I have added some new cool features. First of all is the API testing support. Now the tool support both UI and API support with good enhanced HTML report, and it support test case extraction or test case generation in multiple language including TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, C#, and then it also help us in managing the session throughout the API testing, and it also help us in adding the advanced validation in natural language which validates your JSON schema validation, status code and header. With that, let's start with a quick glimpse of the HTML report. So I'm gonna start with the UI report. So as in previous version, you create your test case, you run your test case, and when in your test cases you are saying validate, verify the dashboard after login, verify the error message. So with each verify statement in your YAML file, you will be getting a HTML report with the screenshot, so which you can validate after the test run. And this HTML report also give you a high level statistics of your test execution, how many test cases you have run, how many test cases pass, how many test cases fail, and the time duration in second which it has taken to execute the scenario. Then you can filter your test case based on your results as well. And similar way, it also generate a good beautiful summarized report for API scenarios. So how many test cases you have run, overall time it take, the average time, and test case timing segregation based on the scenarios. With that, let me quickly take you through the API scenarios first. So with API scenarios, if you go through the tool, so where you are seeing your API's UI scenarios, you will be seeing the next section which is added around the API. So same way as previously you have defined your UI scenario, UI steps, UI test cases, so you can define your API scenarios there. But first of all, the most important part is how this tool support the API scenario, as by default Playwright MCP doesn't support the API scenario. For this, what I have done is I have extended the Playwright MCP and created a new version which provide us the API testing capabilities. So while you are running your Playwright MCP server, if you provide these capabilities which are API session report, API session and API request, with this one you should be able to start utilizing the API functionalities in the Playwright server along with the by default UI capability which Playwright MCP provide. So to get started with this, first what you have to do is you have to get the latest version of our Playwright MCP test YAML and then update your setting file under Gemini folder with this settings. This settings already being given on the page as well. You can feel free to copy and paste it. And once you are done, so then you have to come into your steps folder and define your step for authenticating the API. For this demonstration purpose, I am using one of the sample APIs which are REST, so which provide you free APIs for testing. So if you go through their API docs, you will be able to see available APIs. For this demonstration purpose, I am using an authentication API and a user extraction API. So with that, if you look at in this particular step, what I am doing is I am just adding a header which this particular endpoint required to validate, passing the API key, and I'm saying use this API key for throughout the session of testing. Then after that, make a post request to their register URL, register endpoint with the body email and the password. And then once this request is there, I am expecting a response 200, and I am expecting that response should contain ID and token fields. And then I'm storing the token for subsequent request. And then in our test cases scenario, so I am going to validate the same scenarios. So where I'm going to authenticate the API first, and post authentication, I am going to make a login request, whether the registered user is able to log in or not. So for login, I am doing a positive request first, giving the correct username and the correct password. And then I am expecting a 200 response. And then I'm also validating that it should also return me a token. And then I'm making two negative scenarios or negative requests where I am doing a wrong login without password. I'm expecting 400. And then I'm trying to search for a user which doesn't exist. So I'm expecting a 404. So with that, our test is ready. And the command to run the test is simple: Playwright MCP YAML tester. If you're running test case, just provide this parameter test case and pass the path of your test case scenario file. So for this particular case, I'm gonna run API authentication flow, which is this file. So the moment I hit enter, it will start running the test and your reports will get generated here in this particular folder. So what you can do is, once your test is run, you can come here, copy the path, and if you open your test report here, so you will be seeing a test report like this, as I have shown you earlier. So let me quickly open that file. So total 4 requests, 1 positive and 1 register positive, 1 login, and 2 of the negative requests. So you can see the break of those requests here, how much time it takes to complete the entire session, and how much is the average time per request. So if you go and try to validate what request has done, so you can see the first request, which is register. So we have passed a header to the request, you have passed the body, and what response you have got with the response code as well. And these are the validation which you have given in prompt, a natural language, that you're expecting 200, you're expecting any of the body, and then ID and token should be passed off part of the response. And similar way, if I go and add a negative scenario file, so you're expecting 404, 404. So this way it gives you a comprehensive report. And similar way, if we look at our API scenarios now, so this is, let me quickly open the add product one. So if you have those scenarios, so where you are doing a navigation, where it is calling a navigation step, and then you are doing a login, where it is calling the login step. And then after that, we are validating, verify the product is added to the cart, verify cart count is updated, verify cart details are correct. So wherever we are mentioning the verify, it takes a screenshot and store it for the HTML report. So once you run this test, you will be seeing all the screenshots being taken based on the verify. And if you go and look it into the HTML report generated, so you will be seeing the report which I have demonstrated you in the starting, this report. So how many test cases being passed, how many test cases being failed, and with every verification, you will be seeing items like this. So for an example, this is the one where it says item should get added to the cart. So this cart item added, and then you are seeing a response, which will be helpful while you are going to validating the response. So these are the new enhancement. Hope it will make our life easy. And with that, I'm looking forward for your continuous support and feedback. Happy testing and happy learning.